Broadcasting live from the True Crime Today studios to the world. This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
From the Hit Killers podcast, Murder in the Morning.
Scott Peterson. Yes. The Laci Peterson, Scott Peterson, because there's too many Scott Petersons in the true crime world. Of course, convicted in 2004 of murdering his pregnant wife, Laci Peterson, and their unborn son, Connor. He made another virtual court appearance in his ongoing efforts to overturn his conviction. Peterson joined the San Mateo County Superior Court hearing remotely from Mule Creek State Prison, where he is serving a life sentence without parole. Mule Creek State Prison. It almost kind of sounds like enchanting.
I was going to say, it sounds like some place that you go, like a bed and breakfast kind of a thing. And, you know, you'd have some homemade waffles and, you know, artisan breads and things like that.
You didn't have the word state prison in it. It really kind of doesn't sound horrible.
Like maybe there's an orchard or something that you could go to in a winery.
Yeah. Maybe they should have them do that. You know, that could be... You know, come to the prison and it's a winery and it's all this beautiful things that prisoners have created. And that'll work out wonderfully, I'm sure. The Los Angeles Innocence Project, which began representing Peterson earlier this year, has filed 3 motions aimed at exoneration. On Tuesday, the court addressed the first motion, a request to seal proceedings to protect potential witnesses' identities. Judge Anne-Christine Massullo dismissed the motion, clearing the way for future public scrutiny of the case, which is good for us because
we're going to get to see everything.
We get to hear and see things. Peterson's legal team argues that key evidence from the original investigation was either mishandled or overlooked. There are significant questions about the evidence used to convict Mr. Peterson, said a spokesperson for the Los Angeles Innocence Project. The next motion hearing, scheduled for May, will focus on post-conviction DNA testing of evidence connected to a burned van. The van, located near the Petersons' Modesto home around the time of Laci's disappearance in December of 2002, contained a blood-stained mattress. A former fire investigator claims the circumstances surrounding this evidence were not thoroughly investigated. In July, the court will hear a third motion, which seeks post-trial discovery. This includes details about a burglary that occurred across the street from the Petersons' home at the time of Laci's disappearance, a missing watch belonging to Laci, and documentation from witness interviews. Peterson's case was transferred to the San Mateo County for the original trial due to the extensive pretrial publicity in Stanislaus County in 2004. Peterson was convicted after the remains of Laci and Connor washed ashore in the San Francisco Bay months after being reported missing. The trial revealed a lot of troubling details, including Peterson's affair with a Fresno massage therapist, Amber Fry. Fry testified that Peterson had told her that he was a widower even as his wife was still missing. The California Supreme Court overturned Peterson's death sentence in 2020, ruling that potential jurors were wrongly dismissed for their views on the death penalty. However, his conviction for murder was upheld. In 2021, Peterson was resentenced to life in prison without parole, and in 2022, a motion for a new trial based on allegations of juror misconduct was denied. Legal battle continues on, though, with those new pieces of evidence and the Innocence Project behind it. The Los Angeles Innocence Project, I should say, behind it. It's going to be interesting. It's gone further than I thought it would, quite honestly.
Yeah. My big question is, you know, we've got so many cases where it's like there's things that weren't done. And it just makes me wonder, because if you look back at JonBenet Ramsey, there were a lot of things that weren't dealt with in that case. And so now we've got DNA testing that wasn't done. You know, why do we have all these capabilities and then we don't do it?
Well, I mean, sometimes it's going to go back to, do we have the evidence anymore? You know, can it be tested? You know, does it exist in a form where it can be? And if those things do exist, and what we're seeing in a lot of high-profile cases, they do get retested. They do take a look at it. if it exists. Why didn't they do it back then? Or I think some of it is back then, not everybody wasn't as accessible to do it. May not have been the first thing on everyone's mind because it was fairly new. And nobody was thinking to the future, or at least a lot of people were not. Some do, and that's how you have evidence that still exists today.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting case. A lot of people are going to want to see some sort of resolution, like, is he getting out or not?
Well,
let's just do this.
He was so damned by the media and by everything that, I mean, I don't know. I don't think really anybody thought he was innocent. There was women who thought he was really cute, and that would come up. But I don't know a lot of people who thought he was innocent. But after at least back then, can you think of it? I mean, was there anybody in your circle back then that thought Scott Peterson is innocent and not just attractive?
No, and I was one of them. I mean, I've said it as we've talked about him that I thought he was a hottie.
Yeah, I remember.
I know you do.
Yeah,
a little twisted.
Yeah, but other than that, I think the general consensus, I could be, it's just me spitballing. I'm going to say probably in the 90 percentile of Americans thought he was guilty, or maybe still do.
Yeah, he had a beautiful pregnant wife, and then a mistress. So it was like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
He's already,
If you don't want to be in your marriage, and your wife got pregnant, and you're like, shit, I've got this side chick, and now my wife got pregnant because I wasn't careful.
Mm-hmm.
Killing her is not the solution, you dumbass. I mean, get out of it. Yeah, you've got a kid, but you're going to be fine. You're going to deal with it. You don't have to kill somebody. I mean, there were other ways to do this if he totally did it. And the majority of people who looked at this case from the outside looked at it and went, oh, this fucking dude. She's pregnant. He's in love with this other chick. He wants the baby and the wife gone. I don't know.
And he was weird. There was a lot of weirdness to Scott Peterson, from like 911 calls to just his depositions. He was
a weird dude.
He's a weird dude. I mean, I think, again, just spitballing into the air, I'm going to guess he's somebody that has quite a personality disorder of some sort that enables him to really not be very empathetic or feel empathy or understand empathy or show it when needed. Because there was just so much in this whole thing where it just didn't come out. But did that make him a killer, though? Or is he just really, really, he certainly can play the role pretty well. If we're to break him down as a human being, it certainly looks like he could be. But is he? After watching that documentary this year that came out, and knowing somebody that's on the documentary, I didn't even realize it at the time. And I can't even think of her name off the top of my head. It's in my mind, but I can't.
Amber Fry?
No, she works with Garagos. She's an attorney.
Oh,
curly hair. It'll come to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's been on with us a gazillion times. She's a good attorney. It's her arguments that she made on that were very, very convincing, and really, at the very least, deserve some investigation and some questions to be answered that were not answered. That I think anybody, if you're investigating this back then, would have wanted to ask or get answers to, but I think some things are just missed.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where things go. It's kind of weird that it's 2024 right now when we're recording this, and this was 20 years ago.
Laura Uretzian.
Talking about it.
Laura Uretzian is who I'm thinking of.
That's who it is. Yes.
But yeah, you're exactly right. There's questions there. I don't think it's as cut and dry as it appears to be. I could see that there could be some just weird moments of fate here where this just didn't work out for him really badly. But
he was just this shit person having an affair, and his wife's pregnant, and all these really bad things happened to him.
But why did he go?
Burned out van.
But he's out fishing in the same area. I mean, there's just a lot of shit that also just doesn't add up to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, but again, that could be part of the weirdness. Here's another angle on it. Was it an accident? Did he accidentally kill her in some stupid way, and then thought, oh shit. I don't want to
burn for this.
They're going to think I did something. I better just try and get rid of her, and then she'll just be missing. And then I can conveniently move on with what I want to do right now too, which is with this other girl. Could that be it too? I mean, I could see that where then he can, and that's how he can kind of psychotically say, I did not kill my wife. Because maybe he did it like it was not. Maybe he did it. Maybe it was like something bad happened, some sort of horrible accident. I don't know.
Or let's say she found out about his affair. They had a fight. She's emotional. She's pregnant. She lunges at him. He deflects her. She falls and whacks her head.
Or something. Yeah.
Who knows? There's so many different scenarios.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He certainly didn't. People who talked about him at the time, they didn't see him as somebody who would destroy his wife and unborn child. That didn't fit the bill at all.
No. And
here we are talking about this not fitting the bill. We've got a story now with the shooter of the UHC guy. That guy doesn't fit the bill either. So yeah. I don't, what does a killer really look like? I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing. And the ones that get away with it, for the most part, you don't know about. And that's why they're not in jail. And that's why we have unsolved crimes, because they're living among us and got away with it.
And that's why we don't leave our homes very often anymore.
Exactly. That's why actually, it's not my reason, but yeah, I just I don't know. I was thinking of that earlier today when I was making some tea upstairs. I've turned into Fraser Crane. But I was just thinking I don't really leave the house very often. And I'm trying, I don't know the last time I was out, honestly. Because I get my groceries delivered now for the most part. And that's the only time I would get out once a week. Maybe I should just go get groceries again. I mean, I do like to do that sometimes, but
wow.
Yeah.
I hear you. I haven't been out of the house for 3 days. I am going out later tonight just to go do something. But yeah, I think the pandemic has changed things for a lot of people too. They've found a way to not leave their homes as much we used to.
Yeah.
And I think we got used to it.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much made my home into everything I ever want. So
yeah, why would you leave?
I got a arcade. I have a movie theater. I have a really nice backyard and stuff. And it kind of all started back at the beginning of the pandemic, I think, where it was I'm just going to create, this bastion of niceness and happiness. I have a nice garden. And the house is we keep it up really well, and it's pretty, and we're comfortable in it. And yeah, there's not a lot of reasons to leave. It's like a vacation, but you're in your house. So
that's really cool. That's how it should be for people. So
yeah, and
kudos.
I don't know. I've always I just like it here. So yeah, that's another thing. I don't know. How did we get on never leaving our homes?
I said that I have no idea what a killer really looks like. And that's why we don't leave our homes.
Okay, there we go.
They walk amongst us.
There you go. We went down that rabbit hole. So
yeah, we did.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens next for Scott. I hope that they do take a look at any evidence that still is available. And yeah, it will speak for itself.
All right, true crime addicts, let's cut the crap. You're knee-deep in the gory details of your favorite podcast when suddenly a commercial hits like a bad meal. Seriously? You deserve better. Upgrade to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, where you can binge without those annoying ads. Plus, Get extended interviews that go deeper into the darkness and early access to episodes so you can be the first to know. It's like trading up from fast food to fine dining, but with more blood. So, go ahead. Search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and feast on the good stuff.